Hi guys, PCTV's back. Thank you very much to those of you that have borne with us and waited. I know this video is coming a little bit later than we originally hoped, but we've been training hard for the 3 peaks. We've had a lot on, all 4 of us have had a lot on this last few days, so we're just getting around to uploading this video now. Thank you very much to those of you that already subscribe to our channel and follow us on the social channels. We're on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. If you haven't done so already, I would urge you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the bell so that you receive updates and you'll always be up to date with where we're going, who we're speaking to and what's next in the exciting world of PCTV. Now, I know this is a moment that you've all been waiting for. You haven't seen James in front of the camera yet. We've managed to get James to come out with us. He's taken a little break from his massively busy work schedule, and he's come with us, myself and Richard, to Rossett Holsteins, Rackery Farm, the home of Andrew and Jenny Jones and their family. It's a really exciting episode because not only we're going to talk about Rossett Holsteins, the farm and where it all came from, but their new business venture, Rackey Retreat, which is a really exclusive upmarket glamping site that's been launched in 2018. So we're going to find out from Andrew where it came from, where he's up to with it, and what his plans are for the future. So I hope you enjoy this episode as much as we've enjoyed filming it, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Hello and welcome back to PCTV. Today I'm joined by Andrew Jones of Rossett Holsteins and the Rackey Retreat Glamping sites. Today we're going to talk about sort of a bit of background of where he started with his farming and his black and white cow background. Then we're going to talk about where we are today and maybe what happens in the future. So nice to thank you for having us here, Andrew. What we want to know is sort of how it started for you back when you were younger and how it sort of came about, the farming side of it all.
So my parents took the tenancy of this farm in 1967. I was 7, and of course your school days are always helping out beforehand and after when you get home. And by the time you've left school you're already milking. I started to get an interest shortly afterwards into pedigree cows. So this would be in the early 1980s. We graded up commercial non-registering herd that my parents had, and my involvement and brother involvement. Then we grew the herd, developed the pedigrees more and more. I'm a big believer that the more interested you are in what you're doing, the better you're likely to be at it. Yeah. And pedigrees obviously get you more interested in the next generation and the next. And, yeah. Attention to detail is what I think defines success of enterprises, not the kind of enterprise you're doing. It's about people as opposed to the different enterprises. Yeah. Like I think there's really good people doing grazing systems and there's really good people doing high input, high output systems. It's not the system, it's always the attention to detail that make them more successful than others. So yeah, we had went along developing a pedigree herd and growing the business, and my parents retired in the mid-1990s, which was coincided with our first on-farm sale of the milking portion. So following my dad's retirement sale in 1997, then they moved out of the tenancy. During his tenancy he'd bought 50 acres across the road and built himself a retirement home on that. So I've been living in the retirement home for 10 years since I got married, so we just swapped over and I took the council tenancy here in the mid-90s. And as I say, we were quite pleased with the sale, the success of my dad's retirement sale, which it sort of made us think about doing another one. So in 2002 I had my own first dispersal sale of the milking portion, which coincided with a foot and mouth restocking in Cumbria. So cow prices were even higher than I could have budgeted for. Yeah. And so that was quite a successful day. So by this time the local council was going through a restructure, and I got the impression that if we lined our ducks up we might get an opportunity to buy the farm. So I set about rebuilding the milking herd up again with a view to having another sale in 2007, the surplus money left from the previous sale, I bought a house, well I bought 2 actually, to rent out and keep the money outside of the business. Yeah. it would have been really easy to have bought
Blast it in.
put a new milking parlour in,
Yeah.
or fast tractor.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure that if I ever got the chance to buy the farm, I'd got an asset outside the business.
To go, ready to go.
Yes, yeah. So that was very fortuitous, because obviously that was the right time to own houses in hindsight.
Yeah, yeah.
We can all make good decisions in hindsight. But 2002 to 2007 was very good. So we got the opportunity. We did buy the farm in 2007, sold the milking herd again, and the houses, which enabled us to put a substantial down payment on the farm. And so, as I say, we didn't have another sale until last summer then, and I got diagnosed with Parkinson's disease 18 months ago. And I knew for probably a year before that something wasn't right, but I couldn't find the right person to tell me what it was until I got diagnosed.
You don't like to hear about it anyway. I don't suppose, like, you don't want to think that, do you, anyway, when you...
No, I did, when I got diagnosed, I did say to the guy, please tell me I haven't got motor neuron.
Yeah.
And I was struggling to milk. We were only milking 110 cows, but I was physically struggling. I only did half the mornings and every other weekend, but by this time my right hand wasn't as capable as my left hand, so attaching cups was becoming a problem. And there's 7 or 8 different strains of Parkinson's, I'm told. So instead of having a shaky sort, which is what everybody assumes you can have, I have a locomotion and a communication problem with my right hand and my right leg. And because I'd been struggling with a new hip, waiting for a new hip.
You just thought that could have been
that was masking the symptoms, obviously.
Absolutely.
Because apparently losing your sense of smell is also a symptom, and it could be 5 years ago I lost my sense of smell. So anyway, so by the time I got diagnosed, I was probably quite well advanced with it. Still got quite a bit of debt on the farm, struggling to... over the previous 4 years, I'd taken on a full-time helper. And the first one was a guy who'd been with me 7 years part-time, asked me if I'd take him on full-time. And if I hadn't have done, I knew I probably couldn't afford him, but if I hadn't have done, he would probably have gone to the other farm where he
and you wouldn't have had him anyway.
And he was a valuable part of the team. So I took a chance, and my business, small business, was great. Well, I could do most of it myself. When you start paying someone 30,000 to help you,
you've really got to make it work.
Yes, and instead of expanding my own business like most people do, going from 100 cows to 300 cows, I just went from working for my parents, taking the tenancy, buying the farm, so increased the equity in my business, but the output never expanded. Which kind of made it a bit tough. Anyway, so I had 4 years of a full-time person, and I knew that what I was doing wasn't really working out. The milk price had been under pressure during that period. In the latter years we did manage to secure a Tesco contract, but essentially it was tough. So all the time I was thinking about some kind of other income, what could we do? And when the Parkinsons came along, my whole family and they sat down and had a big discussion about the future.
What to do,
And they'd seen me deteriorate quite a bit physically, and obviously when
it's not nice. You don't want to
mentally as well.
It's not nice.
And so I've got 3 daughters, all very involved, not involved in the business. They all work in their own. 2 of them work in marketing, and one runs her own beautician business. But they all get involved in family decisions. With my wife Jenny, who also is a big part of the farm, helping out, always worked out part-time, has a bit of sanity by getting away from the farm. Boiler sitting wellies is not a female thing for every day of the week, so that's quite therapeutic, I think, for Jenny to get away from the farm 3 days a week. Anyway, when we sat down and worked out what we were going to do, by this time I'd been looking into possible diversification in the form of tourism. Everybody that comes down the drive tells me we live in a nice area. North Wales, really nice, scenic, and I have a really good friend in Penrith who milks 1,000 dairy cows, and I introduce him to my friends down here. It's a guy with 1,000 cows, and he introduces me to his friends up there. It's a guy with $1 million view from the farm. So I don't know what that says about I don't know what that says about my farming capabilities. Anyway, we are where we are. So we decided that we'd cease milk production and look into some kind of tourism. and started looking into yurts and putting up some yurts.
Where did the idea sort of come from for going into tourism? Was it just something that you're in the right area, you're in the right category, or?
Yes, I wanted I wanted something that would be easier to manage, less physical, and B, a pension pot, if you like, because I've still got a mortgage to pay,
absolutely,
with very little ability to physically generate income. So, but we didn't set out to build what we've eventually built. It kind of evolved, if you like. We started talking to people about and going to glamping events, and glamping was obviously becoming more and more popular, more trendy thing to do. And one thing we have as farmers is space, and one thing nearly everybody else in society doesn't have and is prepared to pay for is space. Now, I've always been keen on people. I'm a big people person, and so I guess it wouldn't be everybody's obvious choice as a farmer to go into farming people, but I was quite happy that I could manage people, so that would be okay. So we set about looking into yurts, and then we'd have to set up a toilet block and a shower block, and my kids that have got reasonably expensive tastes kept saying that you can't do a farmer job, Dad, you've got to do a proper high-end toilet block. And anyway, went to a few glamping events, and took my two youngest daughters to one of them with us, and then looking at toilet blocks and shower blocks and yurts, and saw a safari tent.
Which is one of these we're sat in now.
Which is what we're sat in on the deck of now, set up just like what we eventually bought. And I walked in, and that was the light bulb moment, really. It was 3 times the price of a yurt, but I could see straight away the marketing capability was going to be so much greater. Higher
generation of income for the tents and the yurts as well.
And more of a 365 day marketing. When you see these tents that have got a fully equipped bathroom and kitchen and log burner and what have you inside the tent, you have to ask yourself why you would go across the field.
People from your probably clientele, people from cities that this appeals to, don't want to walk across the field, do they, in the middle of the night?
No, they do not. No,
they want the full package experience, and
this market is how can I say, it's about value as opposed to price.
Experience as well.
And it's about exceeding expectation. People come and they want a good experience, and it's the little things that you do that I've quickly learned that make the difference.
I see on your Instagram and stuff like that, you have a little welcome sign that welcomes every family. It's things like that that go a long way. Things that don't probably cost them much, but go a long way. For the experience side of it all.
That's it, and and we have some embroidered robes, and that gets mentioned quite a bit in the review book. And we give the logs, and we endless supply of logs if they want. We don't take any breakage deposits, which is something that's a bit alien to the tourism industry, but we trust the guests that come. And out of the 12 wine glasses and 8 plates, or the very small number of breakages you've actually had, everybody has just about apologised and offered to pay, and I just say don't worry about it. We charge. It's not cheap, the experience isn't, but taking £3 or £5 off someone for a plate,
it'd be silly.
It seems petty.
And your sort of line of work now, it's all very internet based. You do not want a bad review on somewhere like TripAdvisor or in the book or on Instagram. Everything is sort of geared at that, isn't it? I guess.
That's it. And we're new to this business. We started in August 2018 with 2 tents. We put the 3rd one up in April, and that was our planning complete. We applied for planning permission for 3. We've had 110 families in the 2 that have been going since August. People only tend to stay 2 nights. The romantic break, we seem to be targeted. We seem to have ended up with them. Not saying we targeted it, but they pay and they come, and that's all that matters. And we've probably about 70 or 80 bookings to come in the future now. At this point, I ought to say, whilst my children were involved in the decision to do this, they've become even more involved as we've rolled it out. And social media I never thought for a 58-year-old that I would be saying a year ago that I would be saying social media is the most important thing in my business, because I've never been on Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, I've been on Facebook a lot, but I'm not. But I don't have a Facebook page. And so my daughters run the social media, and this is all Instagram. 95% of the bookings come through Instagram. I don't know how to get on Instagram, but my daughters, with the help of social influencers, bloggers, have built the following now up to 10,000. We've just turned 10,000 followers this week.
Well, that's something I'd sort of like to mention. So before I came here, I did a little bit of homework. I went through a lot of people that you've had stayed, and I will just name a few here that you've had down. So Jake Quickenden, Sophie Church, Tara Maynard, Bianca Gascoigne, Elliot Bennett. There's a lot of famous people, and I added all their followers up on Instagram, and it came to 1.9 million followers between everyone's Instagram account, which is massive compared to for the sort of time you've been running the place, isn't it? And like you say, I saw your Instagram's just hit 10.3 thousand followers, which is huge as well. And you say it's been less than a year as well, 10 months or something.
And when you tell me we've got a possibility of 1.9 million followers, I'm just wondering how we can get a pound off each one. No, it's quite revolution. It's not revolutionary to anyone who's on social media, I guess. But the light bulb moments for me have been, I can think back about 6 weeks into our after we launched last August, maybe the end of September. We had a professional rugby player and his wife came, and they wanted the fire pit, and they'd forgotten their marshmallows, so I had to go and get some logs from the filling station, and I bought 2 packs of marshmallows. It cost me £2, and the review was absolutely mind blowing that she gave me. I could have bought her a terraced house and I wouldn't have got a better review. And then the other the social media influence is there was a lady called Christy Green came last October, again quite near the start, and we hadn't had a booking for 2 weeks because I was thinking, well, it's going to fizzle out during the winter. Who wants to come in a field and it's getting darker,
when it gets dark and cold,
wet. And this lady came on a Friday evening, and we had 14 bookings by the time she left 2 days later.
Incredible, isn't it? Incredible. It just shows the power of social media and how the sort of the millennial in the world is going now as well, isn't it?
Yes, and most the people that stay seem to be of the younger 25 to 40. Well, it depends on your perception of younger, but 25 to 40-year-olds age group that. I don't say they're not the only generation that have the disposable income, but they're the ones that are prepared to share it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas the people of my generation
don't
want a bit more for their money than an out away.
Exactly.
So it's and you can never rest on your laurels. We could have a massively bad review, and the whole pack of cards could come tumbling down because the safety net in the past was that every litre of milk we produced, we got paid for.
Absolutely.
It might not have been enough, but we got paid for it. These tents could be empty for a month, and we might not get nothing.
Absolutely.
Now, nearly everybody else in society runs that kind of business, but it's a bit alien to
especially
a dairy farmer.
when you knew
it's
what.
a leap of faith, and
absolutely.
But the team have worked together, the family have pulled together, and everybody. It's a team thing, and as someone once said to me, someone has to pick the team. And,
you picked quite a good one, then.
I could only pick from the pool of players I have, but you don't play your striker in defence. So needless to say, I'm on gophering, not on social media.
So as we're talking about partnerships with family members helping and things like that, you've also developed a link with a botanist in Chester, which is 15-20 minutes away, Chester, your local town?
Yeah.
How did that sort of come about?
Again, that was a social influencer that was in the tent, and from Leicestershire, and obviously being followed online by the botanist, the marketing team of the botanist in Chester, which have about 30 restaurants nationally, approached us.
Which was really good probably to hear that someone like them were approaching you.
And so they offer a 20% discount on the meal and a complimentary drink for anybody that we book in. And we've probably booked in perhaps 40 or 50 families for meals into their restaurant, which is nice for them and nice for us, really.
It's nice that you sort of where your idea started from it to be snowballing from 2 tents to 3 tents to now. I see that one of your tents you put a hot tub in. When was that? The one hot tub you put in?
Yes, well, we put a hot tub on one of them from the 1st of April to test the water and
see how it went.
How it went, and I've just ordered 2 more hot tubs now. I think that each one probably each one ought to have a hot tub. We've turned a lot of business away for
people want the hot tub experience.
And when I look at the 2 identical 4-person tents that have been up the same length of time, the amount of extra business that's going to do this summer, the one with the hot tub on it is the only difference, and it'll more than pay for the hot tub. So
it's a no-brainer.
Yes, I think, as I say, it could have been even better because we've turned quite a lot of business away for that hot tub tent. And as far as the future goes, we have a few plans that not plans, but ideas that we're thrashing about as a family, and maybe a wedding venue might be, something whereby someone can rent the field and rent the tents for
as a whole
bridal
package.
party, and put a teepee up on the field or something like that. One of my daughters is very keen to
explore that.
Front something like that. And if I'm going to be honest, if we're going to expand this, and really when I look at the return on investment, even though we're in our first year of business, it does make farming look pretty hobbyish, I have to say. But I wouldn't change anything really. Timing's everything in life, and if we'd have set up glamping 5 years ago, maybe it wouldn't have been as trendy as it is right now.
No.
And I was fortunate enough to be into pedigree cows when there was a good premium to be had. And there is still a good premium by some people, but it's a lot harder to find now.
So from what you've sort of been saying and what I know about you and the family, it's a very proud thing for you that you have all the family involved here. I know, going back to the farming side of it, it seems like everyone wants to milk a lot of cows now, whereas the family farm sort of isn't as prevalent as it once was. But you started on a family farm with really, really good sort of morals and family and all that kind of thing. So that's how it's all involved here. So
yeah, that's it. I consider ourselves very privileged that we were involved in the black and white registered cow social fabric. My children grew up in the Holstein Young Members, which was a huge benefit to them socially and what have you. It gives them a good sense of values about life being, there's a competitive element but a social element, and in the days when you don't win is when you learn more about yourself, and when you do win. And so and still I think that the best things in our lives that you can't put a price on, the friendships that we made through black and white cows, and I still get the best of black and white cows by going to judge shows and talk about cows without having to come home from a night out and find you've got one done the splits
or carving or something like that.
So no, it's
you'd probably say yourself that we wouldn't be excited to having this conversation probably if you hadn't been in the black and white cow industry, and you wouldn't, especially not in where you are today.
No, for sure. I think that the benefits of getting around, and I've judged a lot of herds competitions, and I've seen a lot of different systems, and I met a lot of quirky people in quirky situations, and I think it's absolutely great that you just see it's the novelty of seeing how everybody makes it in a different way makes it work, because this is an industry where there's no textbook. Everybody starts on a different rung of the ladder. And unfortunately, it is an industry that you can start 3/4 with the ladder and end up halfway with the ladder and have survived, and that makes it unique, pretty unique.
Yeah, absolutely. I bet it's strange for you that probably 10 years ago you had people coming here to look at the cows and the herd and that kind of. Now you have people coming here to look at the glamping site and all that kind of thing.
It's quite quirky how
things go around.
In the 90s we hosted quite a few farm visits, and in the noughties, and then and now people are coming back for different reasons.
To sit in the hot tub with you with a glass of wine.
Well, yes, but I've found a way of making them pay now.
So I'd like to thank you for giving us your time today. It's been massive, it's been really good for us, and really, really good looking at your tents. I'd like to thank you from the whole of the PCTV team. And that's probably it from us now. I would like to sort of, if you like to follow the Rackey Retreat on Instagram, I know they have the website where they take bookings and things like that. Also, if you want to follow our social medias, we're on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram too. Give them a like and a follow. Keep watching our YouTube videos, and thank you very much.